Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Good Time Movie Reviews. I'm Wyatt. That's JP. Today we're talking about the latest installment in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Matt Shackman's Fantastic Four. I saw this on opening night. We finally get another Fantastic Four movie after whatever the Fan Four Stick movie from, I think, 2015 was. It's been about a decade since that catastrophe. This has been a long time coming for the MCU. Fantastic Four is a beloved cast of characters. Opening thoughts, JP, on this film.
It took them 4 tries, but I think they did it this time. It
They
was
did it.
it was good. It was fun. I was just talking to you about this, but I was at a film festival when this came out. I was at the the Heartland Indie Shorts Film Festival, which is I think at the end of July every year in Indianapolis. There's always a big movie that comes out during the weekend. Last year it was Deadpool and Wolverine during the festival. I think the year before that it was Barbenheimer. There's always something big
Yeah.
that is kind of like in the way when you're at the theater watching like these like small filmmakers like put a lot of money on the line to say what to tell their stories and stuff. And then it's like the exact opposite. The biggest movie of the year is like the next theater over, so you're watching a documentary and then the walls are like shaking from the bass of the superhero movie right next door. It's interesting. So I had a weird experience with this where I think over I watched over like 100 shorts in the past 5 days.
Wow.
So to
That's
go
crazy.
to a first off feature film length, uh I think this is under 2 hours, thank God.
Mm-hmm.
Um really studio heavy tentpole film. It was a very different experience, and I don't know if I was in the right mindset for that because everyone
Yeah.
is loving this movie. Everyone's loving it, and the best way I could describe it is polished to hell, solid but really safe. It's a
Yeah.
very clean, easy watch. There's no bumps. There's no rough edges. It is as smooth an experience as possible, and I they cut out a lot in this movie. There's stuff
Mm-hmm.
in the trailers that don't even make the final cut. They cut out a lot because the MCU movies are getting too long. They're really editing them down now. I appreciate that. I feel like you can kind of feel there was a lot of character stuff that was left out in this.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, I would agree. I kind of want to stick with what you were talking about, that juxtaposition between you're watching these short films. A lot of them, I'm sure, just like these passion projects of people that they're putting
Yeah,
together
yeah.
compared to a big studio superhero film. Is part of you just like jaded going into watching like a Fantastic Four after seeing like almost like the heart and soul of people into these smaller movies? I don't know, like that has to be a weird experience for you who like
Yeah.
someone who's like really enjoys this craft and like just seeing the two extremes of it, I guess.
Yeah, because when you go to the festival, when you go to any festival, there's not really any trailers. You kind of you walk in and everyone is there for a very unified reason, and usually there's a Q&A afterwards. So there's a good energy. And especially if the Q&A is like packed with filmmakers, and that's the best part of like a short film festival. The programs are like 10 to 13 short films together. So you could get 5 different filmmakers from 5 different shorts, and you ask one question and they all answer it differently. It's such a
Yeah.
great experience. And I mean, none of them are perfect. Like they run out of money, they ran out of time to shoot. One of their actors dropped out, so they had to get another actor that just could not do the job. Like there's always something wrong with a short film, whether the budget is $2,000 or 20. But it's like we're talking about thousands of dollars from their personal wallets versus an MCU movie where it's like, hey, we're it's been kind of a rocky road recently. Thunderbolts did not really make that much money. I don't even think it broke even. It might have. So the Fantastic Four is supposed to lead right into Doomsday, which I have comments about that. Um, so it has to be good. It has to be a success. It has to be loved. It has to be profitable for this to even
Yeah.
work. By the way, Doomsday, they have not finished the script and they're in the middle of filming it. It's the MCU is pretending to have learned
Ooh.
their lesson, and I think they've learned some of them, but the core problems they continue to keep doing.
Yeah.
So, yeah. It's a
Yeah.
very different vibe. There's a lot of energy and passion in film festivals because it's very personal. So even if like a short is like you're not a fan of it, it's not told very well, and then the credits start and you're like, "Oh, that was a true story? Like that was your sister?" Shit. Like
Yeah.
it's very personal. There's a lot at stake. In terms of like small scale, like one person's life is really banking on this movie. The MCU, I mean, the producers have already made their money back, especially with all the brand deals in Fantastic Four. A lot of billboards, like Canada Dry, is in like the biggest, most tense scene. There's a Canada Dry billboard in the background. It's like, okay, they've already made a lot of the money back on advertisements. It's the a very
Yeah.
different feel in terms of money and passion and just personal touch to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd almost make the comparison, unfortunately, go to like the sports world where I'm a little more comfortable. Like, there's a lot of people who prefer college sports over the pros. The
Oh, I
pros
do.
is
Yeah. Oh yeah.
definitely a polished, better product. Like, it is a
Mhm.
cleaner product. It's a more talented, you have the best of the best in the world making hundreds of million of dollars playing basketball or football, whatever the sport is. But a lot of people, they cherish those college football, basketball players because it's a little grittier. It's not as clean.
Yeah.
They're college kids. They're going to mess up. They're going to make mistakes. But for a lot of people, that is like the purer form of the sport because
Yeah.
it's not as like perfect as maybe like a clean cut studio film that has all the backings, has all the funding behind it, and it isn't scraping by where some of these college programs are, and not and even like high school levels. So I think there's like a comparison there to make in the sports world, um
Yes,
but like
absolutely.
there
Yeah.
is a cleaner product at the top, but sometimes that isn't always what people enjoy the most.
Yeah.
But back to the movie, I would agree. I enjoyed myself a lot. It the my biggest complaint, and I liked a lot about this movie. I think I liked it
Yeah.
better
Oh
than
yeah.
Superman, to be honest.
Oh,
Um,
okay. Okay.
we can talk about that in a second. My biggest complaint about this movie is that it didn't really take any risks. I wish
Yeah.
the third act wasn't something I've seen before. And it's mostly that third act is where I was like, okay, I know what this is. I've seen this movie
Yeah.
20
Yeah.
times in the MCU. I know exactly how this finishes. Where I think they were in a position with the way they set it up to do something risky, to try
Yeah.
something different. Where like I thought there was a world where the Fantastic Four takes their baby and gets out of there and lets Galactus take the Earth and like
Yeah.
move it. Like
Yeah.
that would have been a very like
That would
imagine the
yeah.
discourse about that online. People are like, did they
Yeah.
make the right call? Do you save your baby over a planet? Like I think that would have been a really cool way to go about it. And so I wish I don't know if that's the route I would have gone, but I wish they would have maybe taken more risks in that third act because there's like I look at the second act of this movie where they're in space, they're being chased by
Yeah.
Silver Surfer. I'm
That's
like,
that's the
holy shit,
that's some of the
yeah,
best MCU stuff I've seen in a while. Like all of they're getting chased in the wormhole and then they go
hmm
or through the warp drive or whatever they call it. And then there's a black hole and they like hide and do the trap. That's all great. Like I'm surprised how much Silver Surfer is in this movie and she's kind of the best part of it. She has all the
yeah,
best scenes. Every single one has her in it. And yeah, I think the middle of this film is really surprisingly well done. Very,
hmm
very straightforward, but it builds and builds, and everything is coming to this one thing about Galactus coming to Earth, and this kid is like super important. You're right. I think the third act gets a little too muscle memory. Like, this movie straight up creates a Dolly cart, like, moral dilemma. Do you pull the lever? Do you sacrifice your kid? Or like, do you let Earth blow up? Or do you sacrifice your kid? Yeah. And the movie's like, there's a third option, so we don't have to do anything. It's yeah,
Yeah.
it very much
It
kinda
was, yeah, they
chickens
gave them.
out of a
Yeah.
really personal character choice. They make it personal, which again, that's one of the things the MCU is learning again. We gotta make this stuff as close to the characters as possible. Thunderbolts did it very well. Now, Fantastic Four set it up very well that the characters have to sacrifice while the rest of the world watches them not do it. And the world is
Mhm.
angry, very understandably so. I think the setup is great. It just kind of chickens out.
Yeah, yeah, it gets so close to doing something really ambitious, and
Hmm.
yeah, which, like, it goes back to it being a large studio film with, it
Yeah,
needs to make money.
Disney
You
would
can't
never
take
harm
that
a
risk.
child. Yeah.
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 Can you
Like the
imagine?
new
Oh, if the Galactus just eats a planet? Like, that's incredible.
I guess this is Universal, the new Jurassic Park movie, Jurassic World Rebirth.
Mhm.
No character dies.
Yeah.
Like, it's so weird to have fans of a franchise chanting in a theater, "Kill the child, kill the child, kill the child." Like, it's been 8 goddamn movies and not one kid has been eaten by a dinosaur. Do it. Yeah.
What is, like, the, I mean, I know that makes sense when we say it out loud, like, obviously, they don't want the pushback, but where's that pushback coming from? If they kill a kid in these types of movies? Like, what
These
who
movies
is
cost
harmed?
$200 million. They need as many butts and seats as possible, especially in the domestic market. Because I think some other countries, even if the ticket is the same price, uh, the studio doesn't get as much of the money from those countries. They might only get 30% of tickets. But like in the US, it's about like 50%, I think, which is why it's like, oh, take the worldwide gross and double it. And that's how much, take the budget and double it. That's how much it needs to make in order to break even. And then any renting, any merchandise, all that is profits. It's because you only get 50% of the stuff from theaters back. And that's just domestic. So
Yeah.
the United States, especially right now, because going to the movies is not really part of the culture anymore in terms of media literacy. If you kill a child, there's going to be a mom that's going to complain, and then she's going to go to Facebook. She's going to write a little blog about it, and then all of her friends and her church group and her quilting team and her wine party friends, all of them are going to not go anymore, and that's a lot of money. So you you have to make, if your movie costs $200 million, you have to make it at the least insulting you can make it. So you have to program for the like dumbest common denominator of people. That's why Netflix is very much, in terms of writing their scripts, having the characters say what they're thinking out loud. It's lazy filmmaking, but people aren't watching the filmmaking on Netflix, they're watching their phones. So Netflix is like, "Nah, the characters have to tell us what they're doing so we don't have to watch this movie that cost 300 goddamn million dollars." It's all
Yeah.
about programming and designing these giant projects so that we don't have to think.
So that's
That's what
so
it is.
frustrating. It's
It
so
is.
frustrating. Like,
It is.
the more you go down that rabbit hole, like, and like, because you understand it from a business standpoint. Like, I get it. Like, we need people to go to movies, and so make it palatable for everyone, even the people
Yeah.
who suck. Like that
Yeah.
hypothetical mom who's going to the Facebook group chats. You got to make it for the people who suck too, which is so frustrating because then it becomes predictable and risk averse,
Mhm.
where you're not taking chances, because if you take chances, you lose a shit ton of money.
Yeah.
And they're like, damn, that sucks. So it's like, how do you find that little gray area where you can take enough risks where it's interesting and challenges the audience, but also doesn't turn people away? And
Yeah.
there's no answer to that. It's just, I mean, I'm sure it's a question that is in the back of every filmmaker's mind ever. So that's just
Absolutely. Yeah.
it's just frustrating hearing it out loud every time.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
let's talk more about kind of the performances in this movie. We can go through just the
Yeah.
main four, the Fantastic Four. I don't really think there's a bad performance in this
No.
movie, and I think that's why it works so well for me, despite some of my critiques of like the third act. Um, who do you want to start with of the four? Who's the most interesting character to you?
I think, well, the one that everyone was worried about was Johnny Storm, played by Joseph
Mm-hmm.
Quinn. Um, Horrible wig. That hair is terrible. That was really distracting. But I think, again, they were talking about, oh, his character is like normally a fuck boy, a ladies' man. We're kind of we're gonna step back from that. I think they did a good job. They replaced it with other things. He's still into women, and how they do it in this movie with him kind of being attracted to the Silver Surfer, I think was a great idea. I think it was a great idea. And also, he's like, I don't really know how smart he is because he's part of the astronaut crew, but they don't
Yeah,
describe his job. The fact that he's like, I'm like, they're all doing this like the main project to save the world, and he's like, I'm gonna learn her language so I can flirt with her.
yeah.
But it's I think that that whole reveal that he actually did, like, that scene's great. I think
That's
what they
my
did with
favorite scene in the
him,
movie.
yeah, I think what they did with him was really well done, and he's all about space. He's like, "I wanna go to space. Can we just redesign the new suits so we could go back to space?" And Reed's like, "No." I
Yeah,
think his character had probably the most going on besides, um, Vanessa Kirby's Sue Storm. I think those are the 2 highlights of the whole movie.
yeah. I really loved Johnny in this movie. I think they did a really good job of keeping that like fun and like antagonizing like teenager mindset almost where
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
he gets under Reed's skin a little bit, which is always fun to see, but they didn't dumb him down. And I think that's what I enjoyed is even with Chris Evans, fantastic like Johnny Storm in those movies, it's hard to like believe that he is one of like the four it's not smartest men, but like he's part of this
Yeah.
group that Reed put together of like smart astronauts who are able to figure this out. Where they give Johnny in this movie the like one of the most important things to figure out, and he figures it out,
Yeah.
and I love that scene so much. But he does it playfully and in like his own way, so I really enjoyed him.
Yeah.
Um, the one where I feel like we probably got the least amount of characterization, or it felt like there was a little bit left on the cutting room floor, was the Thing. Um, I
Yeah.
think every scene with him was good. I really liked Eben Moss Bachrach. I forget how you say his name.
Yeah.
Um, really enjoyed his performance in there. I'm sure it's so tough being in full like mocap stuff the whole time. But yeah,
Yeah,
I think he
I
was.
think
I
so.
really wish we got like one more scene with him and Natasha Lyonne's character.
I agree.
His little love
I
interest. I
really
feel like we were
liked,
just missing something.
yes, and we are, because they probably cut it
Yeah.
out of the final runtime. Um, yeah, the fact that he still walks around town. Everyone else stays in their like the nice apartment. He still walks through his neighborhood. I yeah, I liked that a lot. And the whole like, you want me to pick up this car? I'll pick up the car.
Hmm.
Oh, you want me to throw it? And then he like pretends to throw it at them. It was like that was cute. That was cute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they didn't do like the trope where I hate myself because I look different and I'm the Thing now, and like kind of hating his how he looks now. Like they didn't go too deep into that, which I feel like the other
Yeah.
two iterations of this, like that's the easy way to go about the Thing. It's like, hey,
Yes.
but you realize they are a couple years into this, so they have been
Yeah.
established as a Fantastic Four. So
Yeah.
he's dealt with that. There's remnants of that he's still probably dealing
Mhm.
with, and you see a little bit of that in the movie, but it's not his only characteristic
Yeah.
of like I
It's not
hate
his
that I
only
look this way.
characteristic. Yeah.
I think someone pointed out that him not being able to like flirt with that girl isn't because oh like I look like this and I'm the Thing. It's more just like any guy not being able to flirt with a girl. Like it's like you realize if he wasn't the thing
Yeah.
and he was just his normal self, he still would act that way. He would still not be able to like get nervous around her, stuff like that. So it didn't feel like
Yeah.
that was what was getting away. It was very humanizing for that character, which I really enjoyed. I just, again, I think he's the one who got the least to work with throughout the four, but not by
Yes.
much.
But
You still
the
felt
little he
developed.
the little he had, I think, was done very well. You're right, it's not a lot, but I think they do a good job. I think they give a lot to Reed Richards, but I think in terms of execution, that was the weakest out of all three of them. Because I think Sue Storm is supposed to be the main character, but the camera hangs out with Reed Richards way more. And I mean, you can try to make writing on a chalkboard work dramatically. Uh, in terms of this scale, not really. It's better. It is better than Robert Downey Jr. and Mark Hamill doing this with like holograms or something. It's an improvement. There's like a texture to him actually just on a chalkboard, but yeah, uh, in terms of like, oh, I solved this overnight. Like I made this nuclear proof baby carriage overnight. It's funny,
Yeah.
but then once it becomes like plot important, it's like, oh yeah, I designed the suits like an hour ago. Why are you bitching about it? It's like it gets a little. That's all he is
Mhm.
because he doesn't really use his powers either.
Yeah.
So
He
he's
doesn't use
just the guy
stretch.
that invents things off screen, and that's really all he kind of is. So,
Yeah, he gets a lot of screen time, and I think that is probably the reason I think a lot of people share the opinion that he's the weakest of the four. I
mhm,
would push back a little bit just because I think he has his highs. Like, there's a few moments and a few scenes where I'm like, oh, this Pedro like really gets Reed Richards, and like it's a very interesting character. Like one scene where he's arguing with Vanessa, and I really love their dynamic because like as a
mhm,
married couple, they understand each other so well. Like there's the scene where he's talking about the different options they have, and like Johnny points out like, oh, is like what's the other option? And he says, I don't know. And Vanessa's like, you do know. It's giving up our
yes,
kid. You've thought
yeah,
of, I know
yeah,
you and I know you've thought about this and you're not willing to
yes,
say it out loud right now. And
yeah,
like just those moments where you can tell like this is a married couple who understand the strengths and weaknesses of each other like the back of their own hand. And then kind of right after that, Reed's talking to uh Sue and is basically saying like it is a dark place that I have to go to sometimes. Like that is like my burden as being the
yeah,
smartest man alive. I have to
yes,
think about the worst possible situations
mhm,
all the time. And like that can affect the people around him. All and like that scene like really stuck with me. I was like, "Oh, that is like a scene I don't think we've gotten out of few like past iterations of Reed, where he's like very vulnerable and being like, it is a burden being this smart and having this
mhm,
knowledge because I have to go to places I don't want to go to in my brain in order to figure out the solution, which I thought was really well
yeah,
done. And then just one other scene where he's talking to his child and basically like, I'm gonna stop trying to figure out who
yes,
you are.
yes. I do
And
like
like
that
that's like
scene.
letting go.
Yeah,
Yeah. He's like,
yeah,
I'm gonna let you tell me who you are instead of like
yeah,
he always wants to solve the problem. And this is like,
yeah,
I can't try to figure out who you are. You're going to tell me when you're ready. I thought that was a
yeah.
really good scene too. So I think Pedro understood Reed
He
Richards.
had good.
Maybe
Yes,
he had a lot of screen time, so he's just
yeah,
there a lot. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. That's true. I did
and
like the
then
baby scene where he's like, a lot of dads want their kids to be exactly like them. Not me. I want you to be
mhm,
not me.
yeah.
I liked that scene. That was good. Yeah.
And then I think we're probably both in agreement here that Sue's this. I mean, this is Sue's movie. She's probably the strongest
Yes.
performance here
Yes.
across the
Yeah.
board. She crushes it, and I think we even predicted this. Like Vanessa Kirby's not going to give a bad performance here. I didn't realize it
No.
was going to be
No.
her movie as much as it was, and I'm really
Mhm.
glad they made that decision because you can tell as much as Reed is supposed to be like the leader of the Fantastic Four, it's Sue. She is the leader.
Yeah. Yeah.
as much Reed presents that way, maybe just as the smart guy, but Sue is like the heart and soul of Fantastic Four, and she shows that.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. 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 This is, I
So,
mean, in terms of like a Fantastic Four movie, I think this is as good as it gets. It's inside a franchise, so it has to lead into a certain direction. Um, but besides that, I think every Fantastic Four fan out there, they're eating good. They're happy. They are
mhm,
satisfied. Yeah.
yeah. And
Yeah.
then other performances we talked about, Silver Surfer was awesome. I really
Julia
enjoyed.
Garner. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she was great. And then, what'd you think of Galactus? Because we had high hopes for Galactus.
Yeah.
I and I kept hearing that Galactus was like phenomenal in this movie and the way they shot. And I keep seeing screenshots of IMAX versus like just normal
Yeah.
what you're seeing, what I saw it
Yeah.
on. And I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, that's a very different look. Like you're seeing so
Yeah.
much more in every shot where I'm like, I wish I saw this in IMAX. Because I'm sure Galactus would be a little bit more menacing. And not that he wasn't, but I don't know if my expectations were too high for how he was going to come across. But I was a little let down, I think. Especially in that third
I think
act where it
so.
just felt he's this big clunky guy.
Yeah, he
I
like
don't know. It
became a
didn't feel.
kaiju, like
Yeah.
Godzilla. It's yeah. I mean, there were moments. There were moments. I think his introduction is great. That's as good as it
Hmm.
gets. Um, and great casting. Ralph Ineson, his voice alone is perfect for this. Yeah, it's just yeah when he touches down and it's like he's the size of a skyscraper. It's like yeah, okay, we kind of need that for this third act. But in terms of like, I mean, I know Thanos is like, I am inevitable. Galactus is like actually inevitable. He is a cataclysm. He is a disaster, a celestial disaster. You cannot stop him. And so for this film to make him the size of a building, it's like, I know you have to do it, but it makes him seem much more defeatable.
Hmm.
um, and I did like the third act in terms of they try to trick him and he's like that doesn't work on me guys. Like I'm better than
Yeah.
that. Uh yeah. So, in terms of like the scope of it, I was a little let down by, but in terms of like the character and how they show him, the look of him, very well done. Very well done. Yeah.
Um, do we want to talk about the post credit scene and how this is going to lead into
Yeah.
Doomsday?
So, let's I'm actually so I'm going to talk about the overall experience I had
Okay.
because again, I go to the theater every weekend. The 31 minutes of trailers. I showed up 12 minutes late. I always show up late now. I'm not sitting there for 30 minutes. I show up 12 minutes late. I still had to sit through like 20 minutes of trailers. Are you fucking kidding me? And I was fine to show up a little earlier than I would have because it's like, oh, the Avatar trailer's coming out. I kind of want to see the Avatar trailer. And they did this with Jurassic World Rebirth because again that's I think Universal. Yes. Um they do the full 30 minutes of trailers. The lights go down. They're like, welcome for coming to AMC or Regal or Cinemark or whatever."
Hmm.
They do the stupid video about like get your popcorn, get your soda. And then if you went to AMC like I did, they do like the intro about like aren't movies cool, which every theater does, but it's like it's after the roller coaster of soda and popcorn, and then aren't movies cool, and then it's the Nicole Kidman ad like aren't movies cool. It's like why do we still do both of those? I'm fine with keeping the Nicole Kidman one. I'm fine if she gets money out of it and she could do weird indie movies because AMC's paying her for that stupid ad. Sure, keep going. Why do we have two of those? And then the lights are out. All the stupid AMC stuff is ended. The 30 minutes of trailers are over. Let's watch Fantastic Four. No, why is the fucking green MPA logo back up again? "Oh, it's the Avatar trailer." I don't wanna
Yep.
watch the trailer anymore. I'm literally at the theater like, "Oh, I'm excited for the trailer," and then you do that? No, I don't wanna watch it anymore. Screw you. And then they dropped it on YouTube on Monday. What the hell am I doing
Mhm.
here? Like,
I had the same thing for me. Lights go
oh.
down, I thought the movie was starting, and then Avatar trailer.
Yeah, so they did that with Jurassic World Rebirth as well, where it's like, "Ooh, the Odyssey teaser's gonna show." It's like, how much footage have they shot? And it's like, "Oh, 1 year from now, this movie's gonna come out." It's like, "A year? Okay." Like, the fact that the Odyssey released a trailer a year in advance and Avatar 3, which, like, it's gonna make more money than Odyssey, released a trailer, like, maybe 6 months? Not even. It was a late trailer.
Yeah.
I I was surprised how late they're doing this media push. Um Yeah, it's like, why are we doing this? What is this new thing where instead of like a Pixar short before a Pixar movie, we're doing a blockbuster teaser trailer? What the hell is this? Yeah. So that was dumb. So not in a good mood to start the movie.
Yeah.
And then the movie was decent. It's fine, polished, safe. Okay. And the first two acts I think are very well done. That second act in space is the best part. Um and then the movie ends and it's like, okay, uh, I would say pretty well done for an MCU movie. So I look up post-credit scenes and it says there's two of them. Like, of course there are. Mid-credit scene. I fucking called it. It's gonna be the mask. He's gonna pick it up in the frame, and you're not gonna see his face. I called it.
Yeah.
Um, So whatever. It's like, oh hey, Doctor Doom's here. There was a reference to him earlier in the movie, his like country at the UN
Latveria,
Council,
yeah.
Latveria, empty chair. So he's not one of the 5 astronauts. I don't actually know much about the comics. I just know in the other 3 Fantastic Four movies, he's one of the astronauts. There's 5 that go into space, but this world there's only 4. So he's Doctor Doom for some other reason. That might be more accurate to the comics. I have no idea. But there was a reference that he's in the world. Cool, that's all I needed. And then the credits trailer. Okay. And also 4 years later. So the whole, oh yeah, this movie leads directly into Doomsday. No, it fucking doesn't. And then I sit through the rest of the credits, and the last post-credit scene pissed me to no end. It's like it's a quote from Jack Kirby, who created the Fantastic Four. It's a nice homage. Finally, they did his story right. Like, congrats, posthumously, Jack Kirby. Nice job. And then it's like a 50s TV serial animated opening of the Fantastic Four, but it's like these Fantastic Four. Don't do that. Just don't. If you're gonna do that, make it the mid credits and then have the Doctor Doom one be the end. Like, if you're gonna waste my time, do it first. Don't give me the thing I need, and then, but also the Sinners, when I went to Sinners, people left and actually
Yeah.
missed the ending of the movie. So you do have to have the important one first. Why do you have two? And if you do have two, don't tell me you have two if one of them doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah. It
So,
needs to be
yeah.
consistent. If they're gonna have 2, always
Yes.
like, they should just, like, come out and say, "The second one has no consequence to the rest of
Yeah.
this universe. It's just gonna be a fun
Yeah.
little thing." Like, that should just be consistent with it, because I feel like
Yes.
sometimes they've had 2, it both matter, and you're like, "Oh, I have
Well,
to
and
sit here for
also
both."
you expect to see something, so sometimes they don't have any important ones.
Mhm.
Like Superman, that was not necessary. And
Yo, Superman's was annoying.
Spider-Man Homecoming, it literally made fun of you for staying, and it's like, "Screw you. You've been doing this for 10 years. I have to be here." It's yeah.
And
I'm
Spider-Man:
at the
Homecoming
point.
came out 7 years ago,
Yeah, yeah.
and we're
I'm
still
at the
doing
point
this.
where it's like, 'cause I'm not a comic book guy. I follow
Mhm.
guys online that talk comic books. They'll fill me in on the details before the movie comes out, so I know what clues to look for and like understand the scope and the direction of the story. Because now we're at the point where we're expected to know, so they're not going to show us any origin stories anymore, which I'm also fine with. So now I kind of need to watch those YouTube videos to really go in knowing what to or what direction to expect. I should just stop staying for the post credits. I get nothing from
Yeah.
that. Like the
Just
Super Mario Bros movie, it's like, "Oh, it's Yoshi's egg." Okay, Google could have
there
told me that. I don't have to stay
there was
there.
a post credit for the Super Mario movie?
There's a post credits for every movie. There's one in Sinners. There's a post credits for every movie.
I didn't
So,
even
yeah.
realize. I didn't know that. That's crazy. No,
Yeah.
that's absurd. I didn't like the second one. I mean, it does feel like, all right. There's a collective groan in the theater. You're like, "Ah."
Yes.
Like,
Yeah,
and
people
I'm
were
like,
like, "I
"That's the
stayed
note
for
you wanna
that."
leave? That's the note you wanna
Bad.
leave people with?"
Bad.
I
Yes.
don't I
Yeah.
don't get the reasoning behind that. Like, it honestly, if they would've just ended it with a Jack Kirby quote, I think people would've been like, "Oh, they're paying
Actually, yes,
respects to Jack
you're
Kirby."
right. I would
Yeah.
have liked that better.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. But then doing the little TV thing, what I thought was gonna happen, my stupid brain, I thought someone was gonna turn the TV off, and in the reflection of the turned off TV, you would see Doom. That could have been cool.
That would have
I
been
don't know how it
better.
would have
Yeah.
worked. That would have been better. Could have been a little bit cool.
That
That's
well,
just
that would
I
have
was like,
worked.
maybe.
That would have worked if it was like the mid credits.
Yeah.
Because teasing Doom and it's
Oh,
like, "Oh, is that
yeah.
all we're gonna get?" And then the ending, well, first off, is much more happens in the end one than what happened in this one. I don't know. So the
Mhm.
whole, "Oh, this leads up to Doomsday." No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
Because we're still in this universe, we have to get to the other universe. Yeah.
Which I don't I have a lot of questions that, again, we'll have plenty of time to ask those
Yeah.
questions about how this leads into Doomsday later on, but, I wanna talk now just about these movies we got back to back. We got Superman 2 weeks
Yes.
ago, we
Yeah.
got Fantastic Four last week, and there's the natural conversation of which one you like more. I think overall, and I get why people are asking, like, oh, which one do you like better? Superman, like pitting them against each other,
Yeah.
that's natural. It was going to happen.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's of course. Now, I do think it's important to note we've kind of had a great year for superhero comic book movies. I think we're
Yes.
3 for 3 on
Yeah.
well-intentioned effort put
3 for 4.
into movies.
3 for
What am I
4.
missing?
Captain America.
Oh, fucking hell. Oh,
Yeah.
damn it, you're right, yeah, that's a big one that we missed on.
Yeah.
We're alright, we're on a good streak, 3
We're on a
straight.
good streak.
We've gone
Yep.
we're on a good
Yep.
streak because Thunderbolts, Superman, Fantastic Four all have flaws, but all well-intentioned movies with a clear goal in mind and a clear direction behind it. So,
Yeah.
like, just let's be happy about that, first of all, before we pit them against each other.
Yeah.
But now let's pit them against each other. Where do these rank for you, these 3? I can go first. My
Yeah.
personal favorite out of the 3, and I probably wanna rewatch it soon, I think Thunderbolts might be my favorite out of these 3. I really resonated with that movie. I really enjoyed that movie. Um, I liked all 3 of them. Fantastic Four has a slight edge over Superman for me, and I just saw Superman again yesterday, and
Oh,
I thought I
okay.
would like it more on the second rewatch than I liked it slightly better on the second rewatch, but not
Okay.
as much as I thought I might.
Mm.
So I have it slightly below Fantastic Four, but both I really enjoyed. But I would go Thunderbolts, Fantastic Four, Superman for me.
Okay. I think Superman's my favorite, but I have
Okay.
Superman, Thunderbolts, Fantastic Four.
Okay.
Yeah. I think just
So,
again, the Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four are very polished. They're very easy to watch. Thunderbolts has an edge, has like a darkness to it.
mhm.
That's why it's over Fantastic Four. Fantastic Four is probably the most fun to watch. It's the easiest to watch. It's the most entertaining, I think. But in terms of like remembering it, Thunderbolts has that scrappiness to it in terms of the character work, and the tone is very different to other MCU stuff. So I really respect that. Um, Superman is it's kind of a rough movie in terms of the flow and the cohesiveness of it, but it has the balls to do a bunch of weird stuff and a bunch of risky stuff. I gotta respect it. Like,
Yeah.
it's talking about like relevant things today, uh,
Yeah.
in a very bold, fierce way. So I gotta make it number one, even though it's probably the most awkward to watch. It's doing things that Disney doesn't have the guts to do.
Yeah. I think that's a very similar line of thinking of why I have Thunderbolts as my number one. I think it
Yeah,
took risks that not a lot of MCU movies would. I mean, like, just the way it attacked, like, the end, like, final third is dealing with this depressive void of just like mental health. And I was like, oh, that is a really interesting way to attack this. And there was a safer way to go about this. And they just attacked it head on, which I really appreciated. So I think that's why I would have it above those two. And I like the characters, I like the performances. I do
yeah,
need to rewatch it, but as of right now, that's my one of the three. But again, at the end of the day, I've had three straight one, and like that should be the playbook of, hey, like just get people who care about these movies to make
yeah,
movies, and
yeah,
then you'll get at least like a baseline level of like you tried you put effort into this, and like that's it. I hate that that's the point we're at, but that's the point we're at. If there's
yeah.
character behind these movies and people with a vision behind you can tell, and you can very clearly tell that these last three superhero movies all have that, especially in comparison to the one that started out the year with Captain America.
I I think if I honestly think if the election was different, Disney would not have panicked as hard with Captain America, so they wouldn't have done as extensive reshoots on it. Um, right? Because November we would have known, December. I know it already was doing extensive reshoots, but I think there was an extra panic about who the president was. Same with Mickey 17. That movie would have been very different if we had a different president. They were made with the expectation that things were going to go in a different direction. Um, yeah, in an alternate universe, I think those movies would have been better, but still fine, kind of thing. Yeah,
Mm-hmm. All right, and then to wrap up here, what's kind of your score for Fantastic Four First Steps?
I think I gave it a 6 out of 10.
Okay. Yeah. So I gave it 84 out of 100, which in my weird curved scale is a 3.5 stars. I love it.
My
I love
goodness.
every
Okay.
time I give my score. You're just like, yeah, I love it. It's my favorite
Doesn't
thing.
make sense, but all right.
But it makes sense in my brain. That's all I need. All right, JP, thanks for chatting. Thanks for everyone who watched
Yeah.
this episode. Like the video, and we're gonna have an episode next week where we go over the best movies of 2025 so far, which should be a fun one because there's a
That
lot of
should be good.
interesting choices we could make here. So
Yeah.
tune in for that one, subscribe, and we'll see you next week.